Hey guys, just wanted to welcome you back for another video. And for today, I'm working on another jewelry project for the All About the Beads jewelry making kit that came out by Dawn at Shiny Silver Treasures back on November 1st. And for today, what I'm going to be doing is making a set of earrings and a bracelet. And because this guy is so big, I thought I would go through my charms and see if I could find something similar, since I'm going to be making smaller pieces of jewelry where I think this would probably be too heavy for like a bracelet. So thankfully, I really was happy to find some that were similar to make the project with. So that is what I'm going to do here today. But just a reminder before I get into this that if you haven't already checked it out, you can visit www.shinysilvertreasures.com. And if they are still available, there's one option that comes with a black pendant like the one you see here, or the other option comes with a pink pendant. But you will have to go visit the website at time of filming. I haven't had a chance to check to see what was left. So if this is something that you're interested for yourself, or you're looking to get this as a gift for somebody for the upcoming holidays or birthday or something, I wouldn't wait because they are limited, and when they sell out, that will be it. And again, most importantly, if this is something you're looking at for a gift for somebody, particularly if you're abroad or they live abroad from where you are, you want to make sure that you got good time for shipping if you need to have something sent. So anyway, that's just the update on that. And all the links and everything will be down in the description box below per usual that you can check out, as well as the links to all the gals on the design team if you're looking for some additional inspiration for how to use it and stuff like that. Especially if you're new, if you're interested in doing something like this for yourself, it's always good to have a lot of new ideas or things like that once you're getting started. So, all right, again, like I said, today I'm going to be making a set of earrings and a bracelet. I, the last video that I remember seeing Dawn making with the jewelry kit was a floating necklace. I'm going to see if I can kind of pull that concept in for the bracelet. That looked like fun. It's not a technique that I've tried yet, so this should be pretty fun to try. So that's what I'm going to do today. And from the kit, I pulled in some of the white acrylic beads, the bronze or brown glass beads, and then there's some little bronze seed beads. I'm not sure which ones I'm going to use right off the bat. It could be a combination of all three or just some of them. So that is what I'm going to do today. And I'm, of course, for the floaty effect, I'm going to use I believe it is 0.5 nylon thread that's clear, but this is not stretchy cord. Just to remind you, if you have not seen any of the other videos about the unboxing, about what's included, please do not be confused. I know this could look like stretchy cord, but it is not. You would want to treat this like wire, because it is a thread. It's clear and it's nylon, but it is not stretchy. So, all right, just a quick PSA about that. I just don't want people to get the kit, not realize or see any of the breakdowns in the videos stating that it's not stretchy, and then you get it home and then you're expecting to be able to make bracelets, stretchy bracelets, and then you can't. So just a heads up on that. Okay. All right, let's see. I think what I'm going to do is start with the earrings to kind of get an idea of a pattern, whatever looks like it might work good. So I was going to use the eye pins, but I'm thinking, no, I might still be able to do that. I'll have to open up the loop on here and attach it to the charm. Yeah, let me do that first. I'm going to move these before I spill them because it is a hidden talent I didn't realize I had a lot of the times. I will knock stuff over. If you suffer from that same skill, I feel you. So I am slowly learning to move stuff out of the way for things that are vulnerable to getting elbowed, or hand will just accidentally knock it if I'm reaching for something. And, it's all kinds of hilarity that can happen when it comes to that. So yeah, let me get these on here first. And if you are new to jewelry making, a good thing to do is get a very basic set of tools. A lot of the tools tend to be good for specific things, but if you're new, you're going to want to keep it simple. So you can get a good pair of needle-nosed flat pliers where it's flat on the inside. It's also good to have a pair of wire snips. You can pick these up anywhere, but Dawn does have a set available for purchase. If you pick up the kit, then you can also pick up a set of the tools and stuff that she has listed on her site, as well as a beading tray. This is really good for laying out your pattern before you put it on the wire, just so you can kind of get it the way you want before you commit it to thread, wire, whatever it is that you're putting the beads on. So she has a pink one. It's larger than this one, but this is the idea of what that pink bead tray will look like. That is also something that's a good investment to make if you're interested in getting into the jewelry making. And I think that's about it for any quick overview of tools. All right, let me get the second. These are the gold eye pins that are included in the set. You do get some head pins, but I think for today this will make my life a lot easier because I'll have only one loop to make when I am done with the earrings. And then this one is pretty much already set to go. I just have to open and close it. All right, so now I've got the earrings are attached to the eye pins. And what the eye pin means specifically is that it has a loop that does rather look like an eye if you look at it. And I know in the initial filming, as I'm speaking to you, I'm filming this all at one distance from the camera. But when it comes down to the editing, by the time you see this, I will have sections zoomed in so you can see better of what I'm talking about. It's a lot easier for me to do it that way because one, it makes it less likely that I will forget to zoom back out where I need to. That happens quite a lot when I'm working on crafting. So I've gotten into the habit of zooming in to sections that I want to highlight in the videos by editing rather than toggling the camera back and forth. So what you're seeing now will have been after all the editing and stuff, so I can show you, more detail about this eye pin when you see this edited version. But an eye pin, like I said, is just a pin that has a little loop on the end that kind of looks like an eye. And the head pins look like a long nail with a blunt end, basically. You got like what looks like a nail head at one end, and then it's open. It's just like this. Basically, you get the long stem, and then at the bottom, instead of the loop, you'll get like a flat head, like a nail. So that's the difference between the two. But on a head pin, you can put the beads on there and they stop at the end, but because I needed to attach the little bee charm, I needed to use the eye pin, so I've already got that ready-made loop. And then now I might put a few beads on here, but I definitely need to be sure that I leave myself enough room to make the closing loop in order to attach it to the loop that's on the bottom of the ear wire. So this is where, as you get into the bead making and stuff, you'll kind of get a feel for how much room you have, how much room you need left, like how much room you have for beading, I should say, and then how much room you need at the top in order to make that closing loop to attach it to whatever it is that you're making. And I do apologize. I know half the time I have something that I'm saying, and sometimes the full sentence does not come out from my brain to my mouth. So I'm trying to be very careful with that while I'm talking to you guys, especially in a tutorial kind of a setup. So, all right, that is some more technical notes on the side. So let me see, what color pattern do I want to go with. I really, really like these two together. So I think I might do that. I'm not sure if I'll use any of those because they're kind of, not that it's bad to mix the color, but today I'm kind of digging the two of those together. It almost looks like marshmallow and little chocolate balls to me. Could be because I'm wanting candy and I don't have any in the house. I'm not sure, but it's probably good that I don't, because I think today I would eat it by the handful, and that is definitely not a good thing. So, all right, let's see. Do I want to go white? I think what I might do is do an alternate. It is good sometimes, and again, I never exactly always remember doing things the same way, but you can put them on by hand, or you can take the tip of the eye pin or the head pin or whatever it is that you're stringing the beads onto, and you can hold an end of it through your fingers and pick up the beads that way. But me being me, I tend to just be all over the place. So I figured if I'm going to be doing that, I might as well explain the difference. You know, sometimes it just makes it a little bit easier to poke it through, and sometimes it's easier to pick it up and put it on the bead. So, all right, I think this should be good because, again, I need to have enough room at the top to make the loop. So this is cutting it pretty close for me, but because I have the pliers, the jewelry making pliers, that has a really, really narrow tip and it's rounded, it makes it a lot easier to kind of cheat a little bit more on that wire, or in this case the eye pin, to be able to still make that loop to attach it to the ear wire. So that is what I am doing here. So there's another way to do it, but I don't want to confuse you. But I can't do that way because I did not leave myself enough room on the end. I'm just sort of packing on the beads because I think it looks really pretty. Thankfully, it's got enough of a hook on the end that they didn't just fall off. So, all right. So I'm just going to use these because, again, it's got the more narrow tip to close off that loop. So, all right, I think I got that. Yep. All right, good to go. All right, first earring is safely complete. So now again, you got the ear wire. I used the eye pin, was able to fit 4 of the beads on there in an alternating pattern, and then it had the bottom loop on that eye pin that I could attach the bee charm to. So that is how the earrings are going to go. So let me set that one aside, and then I can work through the second one. All right. So see, that wasn't too bad. So we now all of a sudden have 2 really cute bee earrings. So I'm thinking probably the best thing to do would be to get the end loop set up as a stopper for the beads, because I'll have to do the one end and kind of work my way around. So let me get a crimp bead in here, and then I've got the little matching gold crimp covers. Hopefully I can see enough of where the gap is to get the jump ring on. That's a little, yeah, okay, I think that's there. All right. These would be really good, especially the tiny jump rings, or probably just jump rings in general. It's probably a better practice to use your pliers to gently open them, and you want to go side to side regardless of the shape of the jump ring, because there are oval jump rings. There may be other kinds, but those are the 2 that I'm familiar with. So you want to gently go side to side, give yourself enough room to open it, and then see, that already slipped all over. Oh, all right, let me see if I can just kind of prop up the one side and just gently bring it back with the, yeah, okay. All right. should have just enough room to get this on. Oh, hold on, let me. Okay, and I will be oiling my chair here. I'm sure that's coming through the camera pretty good, all the squeaky that's going on. So, all right. Mini segue is done now. So I've got the lobster claw clasp is now on. So we are good to go. So then when it comes time to finish off on the other end, what I'm going to be doing is adding the closing loop. So let's see. Okay, so I really, really, really like... I think I'm going to stick with the simple pattern. I really, really like that. So I'm just going to start getting some more beads together here. I should have plenty of beads for this project. So I'm just going to do some alternating here till it feels like a good place to stop. Check it, and then I'll count the beads. Because you want to make sure that what you have on the one side, where like on this side, will match the same on the other side where the closing loops would be, to be able, you know, the closing, yeah, I think it's closing loop. If there's a technical term, it's out of my brain right now. If it comes back, I will say what it is. Yeah. And I know you'll probably hear me say this a lot while I'm working with this thread. Just a reminder to everybody, if you're jumping into the video now, I am not working with stretchy cord. This is actual nylon thread. You treat it like a wire rather than thread, or no, like a cord. It's not stretchy at all. I think of it more like a fishing line, like fishing wire or something, because it's what it feels like, but it's really thick. It's thicker than at least the fishing wire I've ever handled. Yeah, I really got a kick out of that necklace that Dawn made with the floating necklace is what it's called. All right, I think one more white, and I will do a quick check to see if that's good for the first section. But again, I'm not entirely sure on the size. So let me kind of hold the clasp. It's not so much, the beads don't matter as much as trying to get a feel for how much I'm going to need for the thread. Because again, you want to make sure you have enough to be able to do this, because you can't add on thread. You can only take away. So let's see where that's at. I think that should be good. So, all right. So that should be good. This should be good for the first section, given the size, the slightly smaller size of my wrist. So let me do another crimping bead here. And then it will give me the opportunity to show you using that first little crimping bead cover. So now let me get started and see where's the good gap for the other floaty section, because I need to know how much of a gap, and I don't want it to be too much, again, because my wrist is so small. Let me get another crimp bead on here, because you're going to want to put another one of those on next. Well, you almost have to, because otherwise you got nothing to hold the beads in place for the floater section. So that way you can mark the spot, and then it's almost like starting over, like you're starting the next section or something like that. So let me get that on there. But what I will do is come back and do the crimp cover. I can come back and do the crimp cover again later. I just need to make sure that I have something in place to stop the beads when I build up that next section. So I think that should be good for what would be considered the middle section. So let me do that, and then I will count how many beads here to know how many to put on the other side when I finish the floating section in the middle. And that's where I'm going to attach the bee charm, will be in the middle. So I'm thinking based on this length here, if I do one brown, one white, the middle charm, one white, one brown, then the crimping bead, then I should be able to finish it off, and that should be about good for length. So I'm going to make sure that's in place. And then I will build up the middle section. So I will do brown then white. And again, because you're going on the reverse side, then on the other side of the bee charm, I want to go white brown, if that makes sense. But I'll be able to show you what I mean here in a second if what I'm saying doesn't sound clear, so to speak. So let me put that aside, because now I need to add another jump ring, because this will end up getting held in place by the two beads, since I have those crimp beads there on either side to lock the beads into place. So there might be a little bit of moving around because you don't want there to be too much tightness in the project. So you have, if there's too, or not tightness, I'm sorry, tension. If you have too much tension, whether you're using the wire or even stretchy cord, or in this case, again, this is the nylon thread, you don't want to have too much tension, because that's where you can start getting issues where it may snap from the pressure. Because wire can snap under the pressure and things like that. So making sure that there's some give between the beads, you just don't want them too loose. It's kind of like a little bit of a balancing act where you have enough tension but not too much, and that kind of thing. Let me see, I can't quite tell. Nope, that's not open enough. Okay, I think that should be good. But if it falls off, then I will know for sure that it is not completely in place. Or not complete, the loop is not completely closed. All right, so again, here you can see we've got the bee charm in the middle, and then I had gone brown and white. Now I want to go white and then brown, because now we're heading into the reverse side of the little project. Oh, that is not brown. All right, let me grab one of these. I could have done it brown and white again, but because it's the middle, I like to set it up where it's more like that, if that makes sense. And then I need to find, well, first let me do that next crimping bead, because that's what's going to hold the stuff in the middle and give it the appearance of floating. You need to kind of lock it into place, quote unquote. So let me do that first before I forget. Okay, yeah. So it's loose enough that there's not too much tension, but the beads aren't just rolling around everywhere. So that helps keep this in place really well without it being too much tension. All right, so now the floater section is locked into place, and then you can see it here. You see that gap. When people are wearing it, it will end up looking like this part is just sort of floating in the middle. And that's what is really cool. So, and then I'm not going to come back and do the crimp bead covers until I got the rest of this all done, because you already saw me do this kind of a class or crimp cover where you can add your loop on the end. Here's the other crimp bead cover. You've already seen me do those two. So, try to keep the explanations, as straightforward as I can, but not be too repetitive. So now I need to see what is the distance. All right. I think that just scooch it in just a little bit, and I should be right about where it needs to be. It's okay if it's a little bit off, but you obviously want to make sure it's not too much of a gap between the sections so it looks a little off kilter. So that, for eyeballing it, is actually pretty good, because I generally only measure when I have to, and probably for beading, you need to be a little bit more precise. But things like this, I feel, where it doesn't have to be exact, you know, you can kind of get away with it. But now doing this next section here, you know, repeating this over here, here's where I'm going to want to count the beads. So that is, it's a quick way to do a measurement than trying to measure out the wire, if that makes sense. I find counting beads the easiest way to keep track and making sure that each side matches. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so then that means I'm using 5 white beads and 4 of the brown. So let me get 2 more. And I got plenty of the brown ones over here, so that's good. All right, so let's finish this off. And then before I commit and finish that, I will double check to make sure that my estimate was correct on the size of the bracelet. Because again, I'm measuring this to my wrist, so let's take a look. Because now that I don't have to worry about these beads falling off everywhere. So this is about where the clasp is going to go. So for my wrist size, that was about perfect. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to get the other crimping bead in place to lock them in. And then I can finish off with the crimp covers, and then we can work on closing it up and finishing off the clasp part. Let me get the crimp bead cover, or the clot, or the clamshell. Let me do that first. And then from down inside this clot or clamshell, from here, then I will have to compress it to get it flat to stay in place. So, and this is probably the trickiest part you may encounter when you're doing the jewelry making, is a lot of it on the end where you have to go down inside the cover, this little cover. So it's not always easy to see the crimp bead in there to know if you got it. I'm pretty sure I did, but I'm going to do another little compression just to be sure. Now the little clamshell will move around it, which is okay, because at that point it's already going to cover the whole thing, so you don't have to worry about it if it slips around a little bit while you're trying to get in there and compress that crimping bead. And then before I close the clot, which I think I forget to do that a lot too, this just means I definitely need to up my practice with the jewelry. And then I'm going to carefully close it. So, ooh, yeah, these like to stick together like that. So, all right, since I've already done this kind of a cover, crimp bead cover, I'm going to do this part off the camera. So more than likely, when you see this finished video, this whole section will be completely cut out, because you've already seen me do that. So I will be right back. Okay, so this is all done now. I got the ending clot or clamshell in place. Everything is locked up. All the crimp beads on the ends are covered. And then that was the one that I did as the demonstration. But I didn't want to go any further and take any more time to cover these just now. I want to go ahead and finish this off. So because this is for my wrist size, what I'm going to do, instead of building a really long extender chain, because I'm the only one that's going to be wearing it, what I'm going to do is just add on a couple jump rings, so it'll be kind of a mini extension chain on here, just to kind of give you an idea of what I'm talking about if you're not familiar with that. And then I will go back off camera a final time and cover up the remaining crimping beads right here. Alright guys, I did get the bracelet all finished off, so everything is all done and complete and finished off, including those last 3 of the crimp bead covers. And I do have everything in place for the clasp. I got the 2 crimp beads that were here, they're covered now with the crimp bead covers, so it all looks like one piece, so that is excellent. Because I think if I try to do this any longer and keep you guys hostage, both of our brains might fall out. So just try to wrap this up pretty quickly since it's been a little bit longer than I intended. But again, some of this will probably get shaved down in the editing process, just because you don't need to see some of the mindless chatter or empty spaces or anything like that. So I try to kind of weed all that stuff out in the final edit so everything kind of flows. But again, it was a happy accident that I found these to match that, because the odds are high I will probably make a necklace. Not likely to do it as the floater method, because since I've done it here, I'm trying not to do exactly the same thing. So that will probably be just like a regular kind of a necklace with the nylon thread, because again, that is not stretchy cord. This is not a stretchy bracelet. So hopefully you guys got some good tips. As always, you can stop, rewind, take notes, whatever it is that helps you guys if you're getting into jewelry making, or if you need a refresher, things like that. That's the important thing, is always trying to make sure that we keep the crafting community to, sharing information, tips and tricks and stuff like that. So again, I really hope that you guys did get some help. Hopefully it was fun hanging out, because I always love hanging out with you guys. It is so much fun. Next best thing would be like in one big crafting haul. Maybe someday, we'll see. But in any case, that was it for today. And again, the links and everything will be down in the description box below. So be sure to check that out if you're interested in picking up the All About the Beads jewelry making kit for yourself or for someone as like a gift, because again, it comes with either a pink pendant or a black one like this. So but once they sell out, that's going to be it. And cannot believe that it's November already. It's insane. So Christmas is just like a few steps away. So if you do want to get something like this for a gift, you're going to want to get over there now to see what is still available, so that way you do have time for mailing. And that is, I think, the end of my chatter. So take care, you guys. Stay safe. Hopefully, again, it was some good information for you. And I will definitely be seeing you in the next video.